Hi, my dear students. This is a revision. Some of your friends have asked me to revise with you the rhetorical devices that we have studied. Um, uh, the rhetorical devices, first of all, we have more than a device, more than one device, but we have concentrated on only seven devices this quarter. First is know what are the rhetorical devices. The rhetorical devices are patterns of words or a type of word the author choose them uh, and use them to support and emphasize an idea he want to represent or he want to emphasize. Also, it create rhythm. It make the word memorable. I mean that some kind of rhetorical devices make the art of work or the piece of work or the writing or the story, whatever, uh, uh, is memorable. You can forget it. Um, Also, it evoke or create a kind of emotion, especially the emotional or the device that appeal to emotion. One of the usage of the rhetorical devices that they are persuasive devices. The writer or the author use them to persuade the reader either to change his mind or to follow the writer's way of thinking, uh, or maybe the listener, not the reader, too. Um, so one of the author's goal is to persuade the reader or the listener. So he can use these devices to achieve this kind of persuasion. Okay, some of the rhetorical devices are I told you we have studied seven. The parallelism. Parallelism is repeating or the repetition of the same phrasing in the same way to create rhythm and structure. Uh, Parallelism, we are not repeating the same word, but we are repeating the same structure, the same grammatical form. Look at this example. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, oppose any foe, which is enemy. Where the parallelism here? Verb with this any and noun. Pay any price. Uh, bear any bear any burden. Here they are. Yes, these are uh, the parallel structures that are in this sentence. Pay any price, bear any burden, pose any foe. So we are repeating we are repeating the same structure, the same grammatical form. This is the first thing, the parallelism. Charged language. The charged language are strong words or adjectives you use to manipulate your reader or your listener's feelings. And this is one of the most strong persuasive way. As long as you have succeeded in choosing your own words or your strong words and a strong adjective that will appeal to the reader or the listener's emotion. So those strong words should be very powerful uh, to affect the reader and to grab his attention and his emotion before his mind. Look at this example. The life of the Negroes is still sadly crippled by the manacle of segregation and the chains of discrimination. What did he use here? He used, number one, strong adjective. He used the strong words uh, that manipulate the reader's emotion. Also, he used strong words like discrimination, like segregation. He used a kind of metaphorical image by speak about the manacles. Manacles are the thing that like the a metal or iron uh, cuffs that uh, uh, let's say that it's tie the hands of the people to prevent them from doing anything. Chains, the chains, all these are strong words the author uses to uh, touch the heart of the reader or the listener. So when you know if anything touched your heart first, it will persuade you or convince you to follow it more than using your mind or your brain. So we have studied the three things so far. We have studied the uh, parallelism and the chart language. The third thing is the repetition. Repetition here we are repeating the same word. What's different between repetition and parallelism? Parallelism we are repeating the same structure or grammatical form, while repetition we are repeating the same words as they are and repeating them frequently. Why this? Because when you keep repeating a word frequently, so you are reinforcing your reader or your listener to be grabbed to this word. So the word that you are going to repeat, it should be a very effective word. And this will unify the speech, make it as a whole. We have met this in I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King. If you remember, he kept repeating I have a dream in all his speech. Number 3 is an analogy, and analogy here it's a comparison. And this comparison, when we compare between two things, this means that we are showing the similarity between two unlike things. Uh, Maybe you may say that using analogy is something easy, but no. To be more effective, you have to bring two things that totally unlike, totally not similar to each other, and try to connect them together by using a metaphorical image, whatever you are going to use, by using simile. So when you do this, comparing between two unlike things and showing the similarity between it, this is one of the rhetorical devices and one of the persuasive devices. The example, we were a sinking ship. Of course, here we have a comparison between uh, those people, where it refers to we, and a sinking ship. Of course, they are not ship, but here we have a comparison between two unlike things um, uh, uh, by drawing this comparison. What do you call the device? This is analogy. Analogy. Antithesis. Antithesis is also one of it's a form of parallelism. And the difference here that it emphasizes a strong contrast, two things opposing each other. Again, parallelism, the first one, this is repeating the same structure or the same grammatical form. While antithesis, here it's a form of parallelism, but it emphasizes a strong contrast or opposition between two things. People who have dogs are happier than people who don't have dogs. Where the antithesis here, people who have dogs, and the opposing people who don't have dogs. If you will have noticed, you will notice that the structure are almost the same. What's different is don't, who don't. who have dogs, who don't have dogs. That's why he said that it's a form of parallelism, but it emphasizes a contrast. So he is speaking that comparing between two people or two kinds of people, and between those two kinds of people there is a contrast. The people who have dogs are happy, but the people who don't have dogs are not much happy at them. Allusion. Allusion, it's like a reference or a brief or unexplained reference to a well-known person or historical event or organization, a magazine, a street, a road, or a place. Mentioning this in your writing, it's a kind of persuasion. Why? Because just when you mention one of these things as a reference, this means that you are supporting your idea. And when you support it with a well-known thing or a famous person or a famous book or well-known road or magazine or organization, so the people who know the things more than you will trust you faster, and they are going to keep reading your idea or follow it because you have support yourself with an authorized resource. Look at this example. Just read the article in New York Times. Yes. You suppose that you have an idea and you are presenting to your reader or your listener, and when you mention it in your speech or in writing, a sentence like that, just read the article in New York Times. So this means that you are telling your audience, I have a strong resource, and this resource is in New York Times. It's a famous magazine. So uh, I think immediately they are going to trust you and believe you without going back to this to the resource. Even if they go back to this resource, of course, you will find a clue for the thing that you were speaking about. This is allusion. The last one is rhetorical question, and this is the most well-known thing. It's from the name, it's a question, but the difference that this question doesn't need an answer. Then why we call it a question? Because it takes the form of a question, but the author or the speaker doesn't need an answer for this question. He needs or she needs he needs to grab your attention to a special point, asking you or evoke you to start thinking about this point. So he is not he's not waiting for an answer, but he just making a point or like drawing the spot on this issue. Like when you say you want to know what you need, yes, here I don't know an answer, but I'm just evoking your um, attention to think about what you need more, to concentrate on what you need more than that. Okay, that was the a quick revision for the rhetorical question. Let's go back to the revision sheet and answer this portion in it.